Here we are, back again. We are going to talk with many different countries, and finally, we're talking about a very relevant issue for all of us. Welcome at the Food for Earth Marathon, organized by the Future Food Institute and FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. We started this morning very early from Australia, and now actually we are going back to Australia pretty quickly. We went all the way around Asia. We'll be talking with the Secretary General of FAO. We were in China, and then we explore the entire world. Now we are starting to explore the Mediterranean area, and then Europe, Africa, and the Americas tonight. So I'm very happy because just a few days ago, a friend of mine, Carmelo Troccoli, told me, you are going to talk about feeding the planet, about food and earth, food and health, celebrating the Earth on Earth Day. You should talk about the power of farmers market. And I said, of course, yes, we should talk about farmers market. What's the role of farmers market? Farmers market are positively reshaping also a little bit neighborhood in our megalopolis, in big cities. Farmers market are shortening the chain between farm and the city, farm and our table. So I would love to take some time to explore what has been doing, was happening now during the pandemic, and what's the future of farmers market with some friends. So I want to involve and invite here on stage, first of all, Carmelo Troccoli from Italy, from Campagna Amica. I have been reading many articles about some super positive numbers about how people is adopting new lifestyle, eating better, buying better. And so, Carmelo, please tell us the experience of Campagna Amica and tell us more about the role of farmers market in cities.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, Sarah. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for organizing this incredible marathon in this important day. I'm calling with people from all over the world, and everybody are feeling the importance of this day today, the Earth Day. When we talked some days ago about the role of farmers market, I was thinking this morning, what can I say today about the role of farmers market in the Earth Day? And I strongly believe that today is the Earth Day, but tomorrow also it is the Earth Day. And after tomorrow, it's another day, and it will be another Earth Day. We do with farmers market. I very much appreciate that Ben Feldman and Miranda join us in this panel. We'll do all over the world with farmers market. We do the Earth Day every day. We'll do it because farmers market means the place where farmers and citizens and consumers meet in another way of food system that is not alternative to the other one, to the bigger one, but that is another opportunity to feed the planet, to feed people, to feed ourselves. And what does it mean? It means, above all, a new relationship between agriculture and between cities. A new relation that means a new approach to biodiversity. I listened before you talked about the importance of biodiversity, and preserve biodiversity from our point of view is not only saying there is something that we are losing and we have to work on it. But it means make this biodiversity productive, bring biodiversity to people, make possible that farmers can live with biodiversity, can remain in the farm, can work on the farm, and will not abandon the countryside and remain in the countryside. It means to build up a new food system where relation between farmers and the citizens, it is a relation of trust. In Italy, we call the direct selling with kilometer zero, and often people ask me how far is zero. Zero is the level of trust between farmers and consumers. Much more trust is important, much less is the distance between farmers and consumers. So we are closer to zero. And this is what we are working on. You asked me about Italy. With Campagna Amica, we bring in Italy the experience of our friends in the United States, in Australia, to create farmers market in the city, to bring the farm in the middle of the city, to replace agriculture in our economic context. When farmers arrive in the middle of the city, we start the revolution. We start to say, we replace ourselves in the middle. We come in the middle of the city. We bring our job. We bring our products. We bring quality products. We bring new relation in the center of the city. We have around 1,200 farmers market on the framework of Campagna Amica, with the same rules, with an important system of controls of our farmers. We work from the south to the north of Italy. You know that Italy is a very long country, from the north of Africa to the middle of Europe, with many differences between people, and also in our agriculture production. And we started 3 years ago a new project to create indoor markets in any city in Italy. We already arrived around 64 indoor markets that give us the opportunity to go a little bit further than the outdoor farmers markets. We can do something different in the indoor markets, and it helped us also during the beginning of this pandemic to face it, because in indoor markets we organize like a platform to bring food at people home, and it was easier in the indoor market to do it instead that outdoor market. So we are working on that. We know that we just started to work on farmers market. We want to go much more further, and I like to talk with people like Ben, like Miranda, that are people of a huge experience on that, and we are also preparing ourselves to work together internationally in order to boost relation between organizations who organize farmers market all over the world, and to help also other people all over the world to join us in this different way to think the food system.
I love it. And I want to follow you. I want to be with you. So let's invite also Ben and Miranda on stage, because I know pretty well the experience of Campagna Amica. I also know a little bit the one in New York, because I've been living in New York and I was going there every time. I was feeding myself at the farmers market. But then I think that sharing those best practices is always very, very helpful. Welcome, Ben. Welcome with us.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yes, we love to hear the voices that are really reshaping a little bit the cities. I think that farmers market are really reshaping neighborhood in the cities, are playing a crucial role. So tell us, I'm a bit curious actually, but also now during the pandemic, what has been the role of farmers market? How people was interacting with farmers market?
Certainly. And I would starting with some of elaborating off of what Carmelo said about the role of farmers markets, as it relates to the environment, sustainability, Earth Day, that piece around that direct connection between farmers and consumers is really so powerful. And to the point about cities and neighborhoods, at least here in the United States, farmers markets represent one of the few places where folks from urban environments are interacting with our agricultural system, right? In many ways, the farmers market is the face of agriculture for people who live in cities. And in a week, it may be the only way in which they interact with our agriculture in that direct way, and that direct interaction is so powerful. The limited research that we've seen shows that it influences both consumers' behavior. It changes how consumers think about their food. It changes their relationship to the food, and it influences their shopping habits. And on the reverse of that, we also see that farmers are influenced by those customer interactions, and it influences how they grow, and it causes them to move towards more sustainable practices when customers are asking, is your product grown without pesticides? Is your product, is your product grown in a way that protects biodiversity? And these questions continue to influence the behavior, so that I believe very strongly the shortening of the supply chain is important, and that direct interaction is so unique and special, and that's something that's hugely powerful that we don't see elsewhere. And farmers markets, we also see farmers markets, as Carmelo was saying, influencing the world outside of just farmers markets. So the agricultural system, whether it be grocery stores or corner stores or other places in which people get their food, are seeing what's happening in farmers markets, seeing that consumers want transparency, they want sustainability, they want choice, and they are responding to what is happening there. So we firmly believe that farmers markets are not just our influence is not just what we are doing within the markets, but how they go beyond the markets. And when, as we start to talk about this pandemic, it's certainly been a very much an interesting thing to see the way farmers markets have responded to coronavirus, and that role that farmers markets play as community hubs, as neighborhood hubs, has really been critical. One thing that I do want to emphasize as we talk about farmers markets is, so here at the Farmers Market Coalition, our mission is to strengthen farmers markets for the benefit of farmers, consumers, and communities. And when we do that work, there's a specific stakeholder that's not in our mission, but who we actually consider to be our primary stakeholder, and that is the farmers market operator. And in much of this work, the role of these organizations and individuals, who we refer to as farmers market operators, is often invisible. This is it's an unusual job, it's a unique job, and many people show up at the farmers market without an idea that there is an organization or an entity behind that those farmers don't just show up and self-organize, and it's all easy. It really takes that work, and the pandemic really emphasized some of that and some of the challenges that it takes to operate a farmers market. Farmers markets, at least in the United States, were in a position of really being expected to do more with less during the pandemic. Most farmers markets either don't have a lot of resources, they don't have a budget to run their market, they may be all volunteer run, or they have limited resources, and those funds that they do have come from the farmers and vendors who participate in the market. And so in many cases, they had fewer vendors because either there were restrictions on who could attend, there were restrictions on travel. So they had fewer resources at the same time that they were expected to be able to manage customer crowds, offer hand washing stations, and do everything that was expected of them to protect their community. So it's been in many ways a very challenging year for the farmers market operators, even as we see some very exciting opportunities within farmers markets. We see new customers showing up to markets during the pandemic as the more traditional supply chains were stretched. People showed up to the farmers market knowing that with that short supply chain, there was no question of how the product was going to get from the farm to them. So there's some exciting opportunities, and we see shifting patterns within the farmers market sector within coronavirus. But one of the overarching pieces is this challenge that farmers market operators have experienced, and many unfortunately have or will close as a result of the pandemic, even as I said, there's an increased interest in some of the work that they're doing.
I think it's pretty interesting what you have been sharing, because during the pandemic, we all understood that it is crucial to be part of a platform. And the farmers market operators, that is actually what you're pointing out now, are building a platform. It's a platform of the farmers market. And so it's pretty crucial to see what is going to be the evolution of this kind of platforms. We have been seeing during the pandemic that the ones that were disconnected from platforms, whatever it is a platform, but anyway, the ones that were disconnected, they were in a terrible danger. They have been losing all the harvest. They were disconnected with the network of potential buyers and so on. So I think it's pretty interesting to focus on that. So how do you see innovations in farmers market? And if during the pandemic, there are some processes that have been accelerated?
Certainly, that's a wonderful question, and I'm sure Carmelo has some interesting thoughts as well. I would describe farmers markets in many ways as a mini innovation hub or lab, where you've got a group of farmers who are, in some ways by their nature, some of the most innovative farmers in the world. They're seeking innovation. They're trying new techniques. They're trying new products. And part of the reason they can do that, again, is because of that direct interaction with their consumer. If they're trying something unusual, they can say, when a customer shows up at the farmer's market, they can say, look, I grew this unusual variety because I thought you might like it. Here, try it.
They're proud.
Right, exactly. And it may or may not work, but they also know immediately, right? Because the consumers say to them directly, ooh, I tried that last week. I didn't like it. Or, oh, that was wonderful. You should plant more. Like they get that feedback immediately. So I think you're absolutely right that farmers markets very much are a center of innovation. And so much of the innovation that we've seen within the food system does, we can trace it to farmers markets. Right now, there's some interesting pieces we've seen in some of our work, some real evolutions and some real advancements in some of. So one thing that we've seen is that about 26% of the markets that we work with let us know that they offered some sort of pre-ordering online system within their markets during the pandemic. About 25% began to operate some sort of curbside pickup or drive-through model, and 17% did some sort of pre-packaged market box. So the real question will be how much of that sticks. And another major piece in all of this, of course, is increase in nutrition support programs. And this has always been a big part of farmers market work in the United States, but has really grown during the pandemic. So the federal nutrition benefits, the SNAP, what used to be known as food stamps, as well as our WIC programs and other programs to support low-income shoppers have really increased. And it'll be very interesting to see which of these stick, because again, going back to this question of market operators, most of these costs are borne by the farmers market operator. They see it as their job to facilitate this sale between farmers and consumers, and yet the cost of administering, whether it's a pre-order system, a pre-box system, a drive-through system, or these nutrition programs, all comes back to these market operators and their resources and their ability to execute those programs. So it's how much of them sticks around in the future will be interesting to see. I'm sure Carmelo has some other interesting thoughts as well.
Please, Carmelo.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I would like to underline the role of farmers market operator. They are fantastic people who wake up so early in the morning, who organize the farmers market during all the week, because people imagine that farmers market is a place that take place on Saturday and that's it. But you need people who work weekly for opening the farmers market 1 or 2 or 3 days per week. It's a daily wonderful, and also it's a very particular job. They need new skills. When we talk with my colleagues how about education of our farmers market operation, we always see that they need to know local law, national law, healthcare law. They need to know about communication. They need to know about economic management. They need a lot of skills, and it's for this reason that many times also with Ben we discuss about the importance to create for the future a new training opportunity for farmers market operator, not only in Italy, not only in the United States, but all over the world. So I would like to underline it, and the job that they and the work that they do during the pandemic and now also that was very difficult, because when all the people were at home, they are on the stage, they are with people, making this community of farmers market between farmers and citizens always a warm community, a warm place where people can meet in how can I say, in a comfortable place. So really they are the focus, one of the most important person of the community. So farmers on one hand, consumers, citizens, and operators of farmers market. They are really a key person for this system. What we can do for the future, which is the future of farmers market. As I told you before, Sarah, we work every day, so I think that we are already working on the future.
It's true.
Ben already said what we did during the pandemic. They did it in the United States. We did the same in Italy, because when you work directly to people, and they share directly opportunity, difficulties. So it is normal to change every day and to be innovative every day. So we also started in Italy to improve the farmers market as a platform for bringing food at home, to so delivering online, everything in this direction. But I strongly believe that market, not only farmers market, but market will be um, important for the economic growth of the future. Imagine how many people closed their activity during this pandemic in all the cities of the world because for the economic crisis, and how many people will be not able to reopen and to spend money uh, to support the cost of a new economic activity. Um, Markets are a new opportunity to work all together, to share the costs, and to restart for many people. Farmers market already anticipated this. Uh, uh, what will what cities will have in the future. So I think that we can work on this direction, on cities that need markets and need above all farmers markets. Another thing, I always see that our farmers markets are also, uh, Ben before talked about uh, a real hub, a real community. Imagine a farmers market, how a rural media center that work every week in the middle of the city. We receive every week televisions, radio, newspaper, people who want to talk about food, about rural area, about quality food, about traditional recipe, and which is the, the best place than a farmer market where you can come, you can see the product, you can take the product, you can cook directly the product, you can show the product, you can talk to the people that produce and to people who consume. So, farmers market as a media center, a rural media center, it will be, I think, another opportunity for the future. Imagine a farmers market also as an opportunity to communicate an rural area, to receive people, tourists in the city, and to show them the importance and the beauty of rural and remote area. So also the opportunity of farmers market as a tourist hub of a rural area. You know, Ben, better than me that our farmers market are also a center of education on nutrition.
I was about to say that. I was about to say that. I think it's
For
an amazing
children.
educational platform, a farmers market.
It's the best one. It's the best one. You can see what you are studying. You can feel it. You can talk with the people who are in the countryside. So also this role, the education role, and then I think that uh, if we fight a little bit more with some bureaucratic elements that stop us, we can go further also as a farmers market, as an informal place where to eat traditional food, rural food, where people can make uh, farm street food, where people can share some moments with their family, with their friends. I think that this can be a present future of our network.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. We need it. I wish we could have this kind of farmers market. So I really, really, really thank you, because through your words, I think that everybody listening is really was able to understand what's the importance of farmers and of farmers market. Really, it's an educational platform, is a way to connect the society, is a way to make our cities more beautiful, alive. It's really something that brings life in our cities, and overall is giving all of us an opportunity to eat well, but also to do something good for our planet, because those farmers at the end are the ones that are taking care of the earth. I really thank you. Thank you, Carmelo, for the idea, for putting together this panel. Thank you, Ben. I wish I can come very soon to visit back again one of my favorite farmers markets in US. And I'm gonna go on all the way through the world with our marathon. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye, Ben.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Bye.